All right, I'll start with a quick introduction. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Boise City Design Review Committee meeting. A few things to start out with for tonight's proceedings. Everyone from the public entering the hearing has been automatically muted and cannot speak. As the item you're interested in comes up for discussion, you will be called upon and unmuted. You will be promoted to panelist and will rejoin the meeting after a slight delay. There is a chat function in Zoom. This is not part of the record and should only be used if technical difficulties arise. If the chat function isn't available to you, you can email zoninginfo@cityofboise.org with any technical issues. Tonight's agenda and proceedings will be almost the same as in-person hearings, except we might have a bit of a delay as we work through all this new technology. Please be courteous and patient with us while we venture through this virtual format. And with that, Mr. Chairman, you have the floor.
Thank you, Josh. At this time, I'd like to call the November 18th, 2020 Design Review Committee meeting to order. We are the citizen volunteers appointed by the mayor and approved by the city council, and we make final decisions on design review permits. Any decisions made tonight may be appealed to the Boise City Planning and Zoning Commission, provided that the appeal is filed within 10 days of the hearing. In order to file an appeal, you must have given written or oral testimony at tonight's meeting. So that's why it's important to give your name and address when you testify tonight. We utilize a consent agenda, and this means that if the applicant agrees with the staff report and there is no public opposition, the item will be placed on the consent agenda. All items that are placed on the consent agenda are approved with one motion without further public comment. For items not on the consent agenda, we will hold a full public hearing in the order on the agenda with staff, applicant, neighborhood association, and then public testimony. Thank you all for virtually attending tonight. And Victoria, please call the roll.
Marsh.
Here.
Zabala.
Here.
Semple.
Here.
Zuckerman.
Here.
Aguilar.
Here.
5 present, 2 absent.
Thank you very much. And at this time, I take a motion for the October 14th, 2020 minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second. Moved and seconded. Victoria, please call the roll again for the minutes.
Marsh.
Here, yes.
Zuckerman.
Yes.
Zabala.
I'm abstaining because I was not in attendance at that meeting.
Aguilar.
Yes.
3 in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. And we have 2 items for deferral tonight. The first item is DRH 20-00408, which is located at 10026 North Eisman Road for the construction of a trucking terminal with convenience store building, fuel pumps, and associated site improvements on a property located in the M20 zone. Is there any member of the audience that is wishing to speak to this item who cannot make it to the December 9th meeting date? If you would either let us know in person or virtually, please raise your hand. I see no raised hands, so we will place this item, continue with the deferral agenda. The next item to be considered on our deferral agenda is item number 4, DRH 20-00456. Location is 2155 East Freight Street. It's for the construction of a trucking terminal and warehouse building totaling approximately 280,000 square feet with associated site improvements on the property located in the M2D zone. Is there any member of the audience wishing to testify or speak on this item that cannot make the December 9th meeting that this will be deferred to? If you would, please virtually raise your hand. I see no raised hands, and so that also concludes our items for our deferral list. And at this time, I would take a motion on our deferrals.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Zabala.
I would move that the two items on the agenda listed for deferral be deferred until our next hearing date of December 9th, 2020, as indicated by the staff.
So moved. Thank you.
Second.
And seconded. Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Victoria, please call the roll.
Marsh,
Aye.
Zabala,
Aye.
Semple,
Aye.
Zuckerman,
Aye.
Aguilar.
Aye.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. We have two items to be considered for tonight's consent agenda. The first item for consideration is DRH 20-00405. The location is 9841 West Emerald Street for the construction of two industrial buildings totaling approximately 16,000 square feet with associated site improvements on a property located in the M1D zone. Is the applicant present? If you would, please virtually raise your hand. I see Cornell Larson's raised their hand. Thank you very much. Are you in agreement with the recommended conditions of approval? If you would, please virtually raise your hand again. I see a re-raise. Thank you very much. Is there any member of the public wishing to testify in opposition to this item? If you would, please virtually raise your hand if you wish to testify in opposition. I see no raised hands. And so this will be placed on the consent agenda. Second item to be considered on the consent agenda is DRH 20-00437. Its location is 505 West Bannock Streets. It's a proposal to deviate from the adopted streetscape standards for the construction of a raised stone planters and landscaping within the right-of-way on the property in a 5T zone. Is the applicant present? You would please virtually raise your hand. Mr. Strimple, thank you. See your raised hands. Are you in agreement with recommendations, recommended conditions of approval? If you would please if you are, please raise your hand. Thank you. We do get a raised hand. And at this time, is there any members of the public wishing to testify in opposition to this item? If you would, please raise your hand or virtually raise your hand. I see no raised hands, and so this item will also be moved to the consent agenda, and that concludes our items to be considered for consent agenda, excuse me. And at this time, I would be open for a motion on the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Zabala.
I move that the consent agenda and all items on the consent agenda be approved, subject to all the findings and conclusions and conditions of approval agreed upon for each application.
Second.
Thank you. So moved and seconded. Any discussion on the consent agenda and motion tonight? Seeing none, thank you very much. Victoria, you please call the roll.
Marsh,
Aye.
Zabala,
Aye.
Semple,
Aye.
Zuckerman,
Aye.
Aguilar.
Aye.
All in favor, motion carries.
And with that concludes our items to be considered tonight. So at this time, we will be adjourned. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
everyone. Nice to see you all.
You too, Josh.
Good Thanksgiving.
Okay, happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Happy
See ya.
Thanksgiving.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.